What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's defense ministry says this year's Kuang military drills will be the largest in the country's history. The announcement comes as China continues to ramp up threats to take Taiwan by force. Yvonne reports.
Taiwan is gearing up for its largest ever military drills. Known as the Kuang exercises, Taiwan has been simulating how it would defend against an all-out attack from China, and these drills are crucial for the country's defense. The drills are separated into two sections. The first is a 2-week computer simulation, which uses war games to simulate different scenarios and outcomes. The second part includes live-fire drills, which usually take place for 5 days in late July, but given recent tensions with China, those have been extended to 10 days. Officials have confirmed that the computer drills will start on Saturday.
办理电脑辅助指挥所演习，将以中共灰色地带侵扰以及由沿转战进犯台湾等可能行动为想定场景，运用联合战区层级的模拟系统推演平台。
In past iterations of Kuang, Taiwan has practiced situations such as landing on highways, defending the coastline, and air defense. But this year, the drills will focus heavily on how the military can quickly mobilize its armed forces, forcing soldiers on the ground to make decisions themselves instead of waiting for orders from higher-ups. This move is in response to how China is conducting its own drills, as recent military exercises from Beijing show how quickly it can make a move on Taiwan.
因应共军由沿转战的可能行动，同时考量后备部队战力恢复需求的时间。 国军运用常备部队既有的兵力及资源，先期遂行阻绝、布雷及物资分散屯储等各项备战部署作业。
The Kuang exercises have been criticized in the past for being too scripted, with critics pointing to one part of the drill in which a team in red, simulating China, always loses to the defending Taiwan blue team. Taiwan's military has now gotten rid of this part of the drill, something being hailed as a step forward towards a more robust defense strategy.
The fact that they are operating without a script is really terrific because it makes people start thinking independently, not just waiting for orders to arrive from a centralized location, because command and control in a realistic war scenario could be damaged. Bringing that initiative down to the lower units is really, really vital, and it's terrific to see.
With China having just wrapped up large-scale blockade drills around Taiwan, this year's Kuang exercises are ever more important as the country improves its plans to prevent a conflict from breaking out. Howard Zhang and Yvonne for TaiwanPlus.
Indigenous people along Taiwan's east coast are struggling 1 year after a deadly earthquake shook the region. Reese Ayers visited Hualien just before the first anniversary of the disaster to meet the communities still dealing with the fallout.
69-year-old Zhu Xialan has spent much of her life hiking up and down these mountains along Taiwan's east coast.
Wow.
But a year ago, on April 3rd, she was forced to see her ancestral home from a new angle after being airlifted to safety when a magnitude 7.2 earthquake struck Hualien County. The tremor and the landslides it triggered killed at least 18 people. Members of the mostly mountain-dwelling Truku Indigenous group, numbering some 30,000, Zhu and her family used to earn a living guiding tourists around their village. But everything changed after the quake.
那我们乡上没有客人就下来找工作，哎呀，我儿子也是，他也去找工作上班，看什么时候会恢复，我们也不知道。
A year later, and Zhu is still working as a street cleaner. But as government-sponsored temp work, it's not a permanent solution. Zhu is far from the only member of her community uprooted by the quake. People from indigenous villages across the county came down from their rural mountain homes to more urban areas like this old street to find work, so they can continue earning an income to support their families. Before the quake, Uming Loking worked at a hotel inside Taroko National Park, where many of the most devastating landslides took place. After its closure, Uming, with some other young members of his indigenous community, decided to open a cafe outside the park to continue their mission of keeping the culture of the Truku people alive.
我也算是赌博啦，开店算赌博，因为我们的初衷本身就是要有一个凝聚的地方，不管是凝聚喜欢我们的客人也好，还是说我们早期三月村的员工有一个凝聚的场所也好，那更重要的就是文化这一块，其实我们是想要继续延续。
Business owner Garao has been a representative for his community for years. Before the quake, he was working with the local government to build new access paths to his people's remote villages. But he says that since the disaster, indigenous communities are feeling left behind.
要补助的话就很困难，有一些很多有的没有，像老人家他根本就没有办法去申请那个要什么资料，那个什么资料，那个有些资料山上的东西啊，他说要什么资料什么资料，很难生出那个资料，就是没有想到这一小块啦，这一小块就是被放在很后面。
The government-sponsored temp work that has been supporting Ju and many other indigenous people across Hualien is set to end within months, with no news yet of extensions. In the face of financial uncertainties and after being forced out of their homes, this community has come to rely on each other to make it through one of the worst natural disasters in living memory. Chris Ma, Jeffrey Chen and Rhys Ayres in Hualien for TaiwanPlus.
There's a new four-legged friend on Australia's pastures, but it's not a cow or sheepdog. It's an AI-powered robot that can assess the health of fields and farm animals to make cattle farming more efficient and environmentally friendly. Rosie Greninger has more.
Meet Swagbot, Australia's newest and brightest cattle herder. The AI-powered robot was created by researchers at the University of Sydney with the aim of making cattle farming more efficient and sustainable. The machine autonomously analyses the plant health, type and density of fields and directs cows to the most nutritious areas.
Once the cattle are used to the robot, they will follow the robot around. And so if you move to certain parts of the pasture, the animals will follow through. And if you stop them, they'll stop and they can graze that particular part.
This avoids overgrazing and preserves the soil's nutrition, which in turn supports plant health and livestock capacity. The machine also helps farmers monitor the health of their cattle. It senses assessing the animal's movements to create a unique profile for each member of the herd. These key functions allow farmers to make better use of their resources, which is increasingly in short supply, to improve productivity and meet global demand.
It allows us to assess our paddocks in real time in a much more detailed way than what you can now, particularly if they start bringing in real-time measurement of things like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. And
the population of the world is growing, and we have the same amount of land to feed that population, and so maximising how much food we deliver for the same amount of imports, even less in terms of the imports, is what's important. And the only way we can do that is with precision agriculture.
The precision of the technology also makes cattle farming more environmentally friendly.
So using less chemicals, using less water, and both of those things really lent themselves towards robotics.
Swagbot may prove to be a game changer for a major beef exporter like Australia, which faces a hot and dry climate. And it's just the beginning. Amid a growing trend of robotics being developed for the agriculture industry, scientists are confident there will soon be more robots like this one on farms in Australia and around the world. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow us on social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, check out this newborn Malayan tapir cub in Spain. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.